All right, we are back with another album reaction and review. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. I hope y'all are having a great day. And I also want to say thank y'all so much for all the feedback and support that y'all been leaving in the comments the past couple weeks. It's really cool to hear everyone's different experiences when they first listened to a lot of these artists, most specifically Mac Miller. And it's really cool to now share in those experiences with y'all now that I've listened to a lot of these artists. So today's video is actually in celebration of 100 subscribers on the channel. We hit that way faster than I was expecting to. And again, I just want to say thank y'all so much for the support. I'm so glad to be sharing in this experience with y'all, to share my thoughts about music and to discover new music as well. So for the celebration today, we're going to be listening to Blonde by Frank Ocean. I've actually never listened to Frank Ocean, so I'm super excited to get into today's video. As I understand it, he's one of the most influential musicians of this generation, and the Blonde album is, from what I understand, straight R&B, which we did listen to a little bit of R&B early on with Thundercat, but I'm really excited to see what we have in store with Frank Ocean. So we're not going to waste any more time. We're just going to get right into it. The album is 17 songs and an hour long. Came out in 2016, so it's borderline a double album. The first song on the album is Nikes. So track number 1, Nikes.
Bitches want Nike. They looking for a check. Tell them it ain't likely. Said she need a ring like Carmelo. It must be on that white like Othello. Just like me. I don't play, I don't make time. But R.I.P. Trayvon, that nigga look just like me.
The vocals are so well placed with the rhythm. I'm hearing this for the first time and everything just clicks right off the bat. The way the bass is hitting feels both like a heartbeat and bubbles underwater. I'm getting a lot of aquatic elements from this, from the percussion.
We'll let you guys prophesy. Let you guys prophesy.
I like these strings and the guitar right now.
We'll let you guys prophesy.
Really nice time to add those elements with the change in the vocals.
Feels like a past life. Speaking of it, don't know what got into people. Devil be possessing homies, demons try to body jump. Why you think I'm in this bitch when the fucking yarmulke? I may be younger, but I look after you. We're not in love, but I make love to you.
Very cool rhythms on the vocals.
I'm not him, but I mean something to you. I mean something to you.
Interesting time to bring back in the beat. Yeah, I really didn't know what I was expecting with that first track, but I feel like I got everything that I needed to understand at least where this album could go. I know that when it comes to R&B, there's a lot of differences with vocal placements and the rhythms and the melodies, for R&B and blues than there is with other types of genres. In other types of genres, there's a lot of very straightforward on the fours or on the downbeats. Very simple vocal work normally with rock or with pop music, but here there's a lot of delayed vocals, there's a lot of sped up vocals. They're not always on the downbeats or the upbeats. They're kind of delayed or really stretched out, and they change the pitches, the way it's progressing in the chords. I really like the overall makeup of his vocal work, and even the way the beginning started out with that higher pitched filter. There's a good time and a bad time to use that, but I think this was well done. And then the way that the vocals changed halfway through, I felt like there was a lot of conversation happening with his partner, but also with himself, and it was very reflective from what I was gathering. I really liked the way he was getting his message across, though, to his listeners. And even with the instrumentation, there was a lot of really smart decisions that were being made with the guitar work, the way it was coming in with the clean vocals. And then at the very end, once everything kind of faded out and then the percussion came back in with the beat, it was almost like the song was over, but the vibe was still continuing, even though it was only 20 seconds left of the song. So I really enjoyed that. Very cool way to start it out. So the next song is track number 2, Ivy.
I thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. The start of nothing, I had no chance to prepare, I couldn't see you coming. The start of nothing, ooh, I could hate you now.
The start of nothing, I like that.
Hate me now. If I could see through walls, I could see you faking. Safe in my rental, like an army truck back then. We didn't give a fuck back
I like
then.
this vibe already.
We'll never be those kids again. Everything sucked back then. We were friends. I thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. The start of nothing.
Wonder if percussion is going to come in at some point, but I really enjoy it without the beat as well.
In the halls of your hotel, arm around my shoulder so I can tell. We'll never be those kids again. It's not the same. Ivy's illegal. Broke your heart last week.
I like how he's changing his vocals, going from those highs to this more.
It's alright to hate me now.
I like the bass work that's going on right now as well. And the guitar, I'm kind of getting like Northern Lights vibes with it. I don't know why. I like that. I like that decision to make the vocals like that. Okay, whoa, holy shit, that was unsettling. Yeah, that came from a real place. With that song, I think it speaks for a lot of people when it comes to just everyone's experiences with love and just life in general. You know, the just coming of age, growing up. It's very self-reflective in the fact that, you know, we aren't the same people for the most part that we were when we were younger. We all have different experiences that bring us to where we are now, and the way he's able to get that message across compared to what I've heard in the past with coming of age, it's very different, it's very personable. you can really feel the emotion and the weight behind each line as he's saying it. And at the very end, obviously, with the last couple lines, I've been dreaming of you. I really liked the filter on the voice, but at the very end, yeah, just the way that you can hear the commotion in the studio. Obviously, that was done for effect, but man, that was a really good effect because I was kind of freaking out when I heard that. So I think that's, so far between the two, that's my favorite one. I enjoyed that very much. I like the vibe, and I also like that the beat never really came in. I don't think the beat ever came in that one, and it wasn't missing for me at all. So far so good. I'm really enjoying this. The next song is Pink and White, or Pink plus White. I'm gonna say track number 3, Pink and White.
That's the way every day goes. Every time we've no control. If the sky is pink and white, if the ground is black and yellow, it's the same way you showed me. If you could fly, then you'd feel south. Up north's getting cold soon. Glory from above, regardless, yeah.
I like the way that the keys are carrying the song right now. The bass work is really good here as well. I like this part of the song already. The guitar work is good too. The strings. There's this familiar vibe going on, but it also has this darkness to it, I think. Those are some good harmonies. I like this. Little birds. Man, that one was really good. I think that is now my favorite one. Just the way it developed all the way through. A lot of instrumentation going on from the start all the way through. The keys, I think, was my favorite part. His vocal work, again, is excellent. And then the way that the other vocals came in and were layered on top, I really liked how that was progressing. With the keys, the guitar, the bass, and the backbeat of the drums going through the whole way. That was just a complete song and journey. That was very transporting, actually. I feel like I heard everything I needed to just from that song. Shit. But we got to keep going. See what else we have. We have track number 4, Be Yourself.
Many college students have gone to college and gotten hooked on drugs, marijuana, and alcohol. Listen, stop trying to be somebody else. Be yourself and know that that's good enough. Don't try to be like someone else. Don't try to act like someone else. Be yourself. Be secure with yourself. Rely and trust upon your own decisions, on your own beliefs. When people become weed heads, they become sluggish, lazy, stupid, and unconcerned. Mom, call me. Bye.
Okay. Wow. That was weirdly emotional with the music going on in the background. I'm not going to speak for everybody, obviously, in these type of situations, but college is a very rough experience. You know, depending on who you ask, it was a tough time and it really hit me hard. I wouldn't say that this was necessarily a song, it's hard for me to review this as a song, but I definitely got an experience out of listening to that. So that was interesting, and I actually enjoyed that a lot. Next we have Solo. Track number 5, Solo.
Hand me a towel, I'm dirty dancing by myself, gone off tabs of that acid. Form me a circle, watch my Jagger. Might lose my jacket and hit a solo. Now stay away from highways, my eyes like them red lights. Right now I prefer yellow, red bone, so mellow. Fuck around, be cutting you. Think we were better off solo. Solo, 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 solo.
Interesting to delay that solo.
It's hell on earth and the city's on fire. In hell there's heaven.
I like how the voice is blending with the synths. Getting like gospel vibes from that.
Showers and switching socks, sleeping good and long. The bull and the matador dueling in the sky. In hell there's heaven.
I had a lot of thoughts while that was going on, but I just wanted to really let that play out. Just hearing his vocals during the chorus, I'll say, when he was repeating solo, or when he was doing those very soulful progressions with his voice. I mean, there was a lot of different elements going on. The way his voice was blending in with the keys, and then when the synths started coming in. Because I'm so accustomed to hearing the beat as both a listener and a drummer, it's making my mind work differently trying to listen to these songs. It's definitely a unique experience trying to find where the downbeats and the measures start and end for these type of songs without the backbeat. But honestly, it's just one of those things where I just got to let the music take me on this journey and let go of the wheel, pretty much. Just got to let the music ride. With that being said, we have track number 6, Skyline To.
This is joy, this is summer. Keep alive. Stay alive. Look, God strikes us.
I like that delivery.
That's a pretty fucking fast year flew by. And comes the morning, hunting us with the beams. Souls the same as far as it used to be. It begins to blur, we get older. Summer's not as long as it used to be. Every day counts like crazy.
The way the instruments are droning in the background while the vocals are more front forward is really nice. This little conversation happening between the synths is really nice. Shit, that's a heavy line. Some really interesting things with the instrumentation all across this album so far. There's so much delicacy, there's so much care in the music. The way that the vocals are layered differently than the instrumentation, the way that certain parts of the track swell and the way they fade out. This is masterful, literally. And I like a lot of the lines that are coming through this song in particular. Keep alive, stay alive. In comes the morning haunting us with the beams. It begins to blur, we get older. Summer's not as long as it used to be. On comes the evening, gold seeking ends. Peace in my hand worth twice than a friend. That line right there hit pretty hard. And I'm sure a lot of us can relate to those two. We're going to keep moving forward with the next track, which is Self-Control. Track number 7, Self-Control.
Poolside convo about your summer last night. Ooh, about your summer last. Could we make it in?
Another filter on the voice.
I'll be the boyfriend in your wet dreams tonight.
And the acoustic guitar is so simple.
Place for me. I'll sleep between you. There's nothing. Keep a place for me.
Cause I made you use your self-control, and you made me lose my self-control, Keep a place for me.
Is that him?
It's nothing, it's nothing.
I wonder if is that his voice? I think that's his voice. Or is that a guitar? That's a guitar. Shit, now I don't know. Wow.
You gotta leave. You gotta leave. Take down some summertime. You got someone coming. Spitting game. Oh, you got it.
It seems like with a lot of these songs, there's a lot of self-reflection going on in some past relationships. The way he was saying some of these lines, like, I wish I was there, wish we'd grown up on the same advice and our time was right, or keep a place for me. There's also a line like, I made you use your self-control and you made me lose my self-control. He has a very direct and unique way of getting his story across. The way he was changing up the vocals across the board with the filters and the way the instrumentation was swelling. That's another great track. So the next track is Good Guy. Track number 8, Good Guy.
It's a good guy, he hooked it up. So if I was an NY, I should look you up. And you text nothing like you look. It's to the gay bar you took me to.
There's a filter almost like rain outside.
When I realized you talk so much more than I do. Better much more than some nice shit. I know you don't need me right now.
There's like an unsteadiness with his voice.
Ooh, just a lady.
I used to fuck with all of them.
Yeah, I ain't got bitches no more.
But now I don't care about bitches like that, my nigga. That shit, Jasmine fucking wrecked my heart. I don't even know how to feel about bitches.
Damn. He goes straight into the next track, which is Nights. But the way his vocals were playing out in that song, there was a unsteadiness to it, which I'm sure was a stylistic choice. I mean, obviously he's so talented that you can still hear the control behind his voice as well. But the way the story was playing out, it sounded like he was meeting up with the girl, and the way he was talking about her, where he said, it's when I realized you talk too much, more than I do. It's highlights when I was convinced that it isn't much more. It's so not you. So pretty much what I think is being said is, to him, this could have been like a core memory for him with the girl, but for her, it's just another day and he's just another guy. And he is self-aware of that, saying, I know you don't need me right now, and to you, it's just a late night. And then as the song is going on, it's almost like he's either reflecting on that night or a previous night with another girl, where he's saying, you know, that shit, Jasmine fucking wrecked my heart. I think by the time the end of the song came around, it was more reflective on himself, with the past interactions that he's probably had with other people. Maybe it was a little more wholesome at the beginning, but after he realizes that things don't really crack up the way he was picturing it in his head, maybe he went from being the good guy to more of an asshole. And I mean, you know, shit happens. That's just the way things go sometimes. So the next song is Nights. Track number 9, Nights.
Round your city, round the clock. Everybody needs you. No, you can't make everybody equal. Although you got buku family, you don't even got nobody being honest with you.
Kind of like it getting stretched thin.
Breathe till I evaporate. My whole body see through. Transportation handmade. I'm fucking, no, I'm fucked up. Spend it when I get that. I ain't trying to keep you. Can't keep up a conversation. Can't nobody read you. Why your eyes well up? You were from my past life. Hope you're doing well, bro. New beginnings. New beginnings.
This song is really showing me that he's a very flawed person, and he's very comfortable with that, which we all should strive for, honestly. He knows he's a flawed person, but he's totally comfortable being by himself in solitude as well. Yeah, he's talking about some real shit. It's a good hook. With some good guitars. Almost like it was an alarm clock. It's an interesting breakdown too for this style of music. It sound like a phone ringing. Okay, yeah.
Every night fucks every day up. Every day patches the night up. Oh God, you should match it, it's that KO. After Trina hit, I had to transfer campus. Your apartment I didn't use since where I waited. Staying with you when I didn't have an address. Fucking on you when I didn't own a mattress. Working on a way to make it out of Texas. What the fuck up, I don't want your conversation. Rolling marijuana.
Fuck, man, this is... Dude, he has some great rhythms in his vocals, I swear. The way he's just piecing all these lines together is really cool. I'm sure people are going to say, like, oh, the flow, right? But it's going to sound really weird coming out of my mouth, but, you know, when, like, his flow is really good. He has a really good flow. Like, that's the best way I could say it. This whole album just feels like a self-reflection. The way some of these lines were being said, he knows he's a broken person. He knows he's flawed. He knows he comes with his own baggage. But he accepts it, and he knows who he is. He's very content with where he is in life right here. And then when the guitars come in and change up the... When the guitars come in and they have that almost alarm clock or sounds like a phone ringing feel, and then it changes into the final part of the song, that was a really cool transition. Just the flow that he had all the way through that final bit was really, really cool. Another one of my favorites right here. Just some good shit across the board. We're about halfway through the album, and we have about 7 more to go? 8 more to go. And the next song is Solo Reprise. Track number 10, Solo Reprise.
So now I'm solo that I can see under the skirt of an ant. Solo that I don't get high no more when I try no more, I just go hand. When I hear that another kid is shot by the popo, it ain't an event. No more solo that no more high horses so hard to wear polo. When I do, I cut the pony off. Now there's a hole that once was a logo. After 20 years in, I'm so naive, I was under the impression that everyone wrote their own verses. It's coming back different, and yeah, that shit hurts me. I'm humming and whistling to those not deserving. I stumbled and lived every word. Was I working just way too hard?
Shit. Wow. I just want to say those last couple of lines right there. I mean, the whole thing was awesome, but that last bit, I'm so naive, I was under the impression that everyone wrote their own verses. It's coming back different, and yeah, that shit hurts me. I'm humming and whistling to those not deserving. I'm stumbled and lived every word. Was I just working way too hard? Holy shit. I think that goes across the board for a lot of people. We have all these different experiences, and for some of us, it's like, on the surface, it does look like a lot of us wound up in the same place, but that's all perception, right? We all have different experiences, and we only see what everyone wants you to see. But, you know, of course the hard work pays off, but it is an interesting dialogue to have when you really think about it. So, with that being said, the next track is track number 11, Pretty Sweet.
To the edge I race, to the end I make it. All the risk I take it. You can't end me now. That might be what you need.
Okay, so the music faded out when he said you can't end me now, so that was definitely intentional. The way that the vocals are sounding, it sounds like he's on the angelic side. Man. Yeah, the way it was developing from that very anxious and claustrophobic beginning, and the way that the vocals just cut the music in half with that line, you can't end me now, and then it progressed into the next part of the song, started getting very angelic with the vocals, and then it had that really funky breakdown at the end. That was really cool. I really liked how that was developing. That was a total mixed bag compared to a lot of the other things that we got across the album so far. Pretty upbeat and experimental from what I was hearing, but I enjoyed the hell out of that one for sure. So the next song is Facebook Story, track number 12, Facebook Story.
No, I was just telling that I got this girl before, and I was together since 3 years, and Facebook arrived, and she wanted me to accept her on Facebook, and I don't want it because I was like in front of her, and she told me like, accept me on Facebook. It was virtual, means no sense. Really, she thought that because I didn't accept her, she thought I was cheating for nothing. You know, virtual thing.
Man, that is so real. Holy shit. Social media in general is so toxic and dehumanizing for a lot of reasons. Currently going through a detox or a cleansing from social media. I'm no longer using social media as of a couple days ago, and it's just been very revitalizing for myself in that I have so much time and so much energy and mental space to just focus and hone in on the things that actually matter, because there's so much overstimulation from social media. It's, you know, for what reason, honestly? Everyone needs to do a cleansing or a detox here once in a while. So if you haven't done it before, maybe try to give it a shot. I'm sure you'll find some interesting things about yourself during that time. So with that being said, the next song is track number 13, Close to You. Track number 13, Close to You.
I'll be honest, I wasn't devastated, but you could've held my hand through this, baby. Let my mind run underneath one chest.
Guessing in the shower, almost like his mind is melting.
Am I preaching till it's quiet to this atheist?
Pretty straightforward track, but yeah, it's a longing. It's just being with your thoughts and longing for somebody. But when he says, "Why am I preaching?" You know, it's just falling on deaf ears. For whatever reason, he is so close, but yet so far. Really cool work on the vocals and interesting rhythm on the backbeat. But yeah, pretty short track, but I enjoyed that. We have track number 14 next, and that is White Ferrari.
Bad luck to talk on these rides.
I like these synths.
Mine on the road. How was I supposed to know?
I don't know if it's just like the synths or everything else, but I'm getting a lot of 80s vibes off of this.
We're both so familiar. White Ferrari. Stick by me, close by me. You will find, you will find. As this is slow by. Left when I forget to speak. I care for you still, and I will.
It's a cool transition.
That was my part of the deal. Honest, we got so familiar. Good times.
His use of the acoustics is just awesome.
In this life, in this life. One too many years, taste to that lives on a facelift. Mind over matter is magic. I do magic.
That's good.
If you think about it, you'll spend no time.
That's some real shit right there. It is life. Just gotta let things ride out and lose control.
I'm sure we're taller in another dimension. You say we're small and not worth the mention.
Man, what a lot of interesting words are being said across this song, talking about humanity and how fragile it is, talking about how we don't have a lot of time on this earth, and even that last bit where it's almost like two conflicting views of the world, where one wants to explore and discover, and the other one is very almost like they're reserved, or they just want to stay put where they are. They don't like to explore. They like the safe space, whether that's in their head or at home, and not wanting to leave their comfort zone. That's very real for a lot of people. We have to, as human beings, do everything that we can while we're here on this earth with the life that we're given. I mean, life is so precious. We see that every single day. People losing their loved ones at such early ages, and you just need to live your best life and live your life, not someone else's. So with that being said, we're going to go on to the next track, which is track number 15, Seigfried. I love his guitar work across this entire album. Sounds so distant too.
Your speckled face, I couldn't gauge your feet. I can't relate to my peers. I'd rather live outside. I'm not brave. Been living in an idea from another man's mind.
Again, live your own life. I think that's the main thing. Maybe I'm a fool to settle.
I'd rather live outside. Rather go to jail. I've tried hell. This is not my life. Speaking of Nirvana, it was there. Rare as the feathers on my dash from a phoenix. I be dreaming and dreaming a thought that could dream about a thought that could think of dreaming a dream where I cannot. High flights, inhale the vapor, exhale once and think twice. Eat some shrooms, maybe have a good cry about you. See some colors, light hang glide off the moon. In the dark, I do for you. In the dark, I do for you.
Wow. Such cool layering right there. You can make a sample of that last 20 seconds and you could just loop that, turn that into its own song. Same thing as before, but just told in a different way. It's about coming to the realization that you're not satisfied or content with your living situation. It just seems like he's realizing that he's not living the life that he wants to. He's settled. He believes he's a fool. He doesn't feel like he is happy. And then where it says, you know, I'm not brave. And then at a certain point, he says that this is not his life, that he's coming to the realization that he's not happy. And then it echoes brave. That's kind of the coming of age in the middle of the song. He even says, I'd rather live outside, you know, instead of living in security, he'd rather be out in the elements. He'd rather go to jail. He just does not like where he is in life. And of course, again, it's the longing for that significant other in the past. And then at the end, man, I just love the way he layered those vocals. I mean, he has such a craft in just his vocal work. At the end, you know, he probably had 3 or 4 different tracks of his vocals, and the way he was layering them and changing the style in his voice across it was really cool. You could just make a song out of those last 20 seconds. I really like that song. And that was 5.5 minutes, and that flew by. The next song is track number 16, Godspeed. The way it's just bouncing from ear to ear. It's like a ride that's going around in my mind.
I will always love you how I do. The table is prepared for you. There will be mountains you won't move. Still, I'll always be there for you. How I do. I let go of my claim on you. It's a free world, but you'll have this place to call home. Always.
A lot of acceptance in this song. This is gentleness, that this part of the song. The way this is layered on top of each other in this part of the song, it's almost like recurring thoughts that are going through his mind. It's almost like a lullaby, so maybe it's reminding him of a simpler time. Yeah, it's very accepting of where his partner is in their life, and knowing that he's making it clear to them that he does have a special place in his heart for them, and he knows that there's going to be struggles in their life, and he needs to let go of his control on their life, that they are their own person, they are their own being, and they have to discover things on their own. And he says, but you'll have this place to call home always. And so it's really just acceptance, and that's the most powerful form of love, where it's just free to do whatever. A really cool way to bring out that story in these words, and then the way it kind of falls out at the end swells up and then breaks apart with those back and forth call and answer vocals at the end. The way it was softening up at the end, it really felt like just recurring thoughts that are going over in his head. It almost felt a little claustrophobic, like my anxiety was building because I couldn't really pay attention to what was being said, but that was being done by design, and it almost was giving off the sense of a lullaby, so that was a really cool touch as well. So now we are on to the final track, which I don't know how to pronounce this, but track 17, Futura Free. Futura Free. I'm just going to say like Future Free. Future Free. It's a 9.5-minute song.
I used to work on my feet for $7 an hour. Call my mama like, mama, I ain't making minimum wage, mama. I'm on, mama, I'm on. Now I'm making 400, 600, 800K, mama. They stand on my feet, mama. Play these songs, it's therapy, mama. They paying me, mama. I should be paying them. I should be paying y'all, honest to God. I'm just a guy, I'm not a guy.
He's trying to be relatable, and he should be.
Goddamn, fuck these lanes, they don't want none. Fuck these lanes, they don't want none. Fuck these niggas. Fuck these niggas, they don't want none. Fuck these niggas. I'm gonna let my nuts hang, nigga. You got some just like me, don't you? Or maybe not just like me, you know I'm Africano, Americano. And even if you have Japanese roots, front teeth, tell you treat, throw a big shadow. Sex on me, please give me.
I ain't on your schedule. I ain't on no schedule. You say I'm changing up. I feel like Selena. They wanna murder a nigga. Murder me like Selena. Menage on my birthday. Tap out on the first stroke. This ain't no work day. She don't give head anyway. Cause what niggas say. That's what she tell a man. What a difference this is making. Niggas won't fight in the streets now. That I ain't running for a nigga. Ain't ran since track meets. That's the only time I ran from a nigga. You can change this track now. Please run that back.
You say some shit about me, talk real sports. The second time around was there, nigga. Oh God, he grabbed me and drugged me, and another nigga tried.
Make sure you speak up.
Okay.
What's your name?
Ryan.
Yo, hey, be quiet. What's your name? What do you do?
What an interesting way for this song to go.
What's your first memory?
The first word I learned to say, or that I ever said.
What's the most amazing thing you've ever witnessed?
I like how the keys are playing over this too.
How far is a light year? How far is a light year?
So I'm sure that's some recording that happened when they were kids, probably. And man, there's so much to unpack with that entire song. But the way that Frank Ocean was telling this story, it just really seemed like he was trying to show the listeners that he still is the same person that he was before he ever started music or before he ever got big. You know, he's saying that he wasn't able to make minimum wage, and then now he's saying how he's made all this money. He's even saying that he should be paying people, not them paying him, and that he's just seeing music as therapy. And that's really what it is when it comes down to it. It's just a extension of our beings. You know, he's talking about how there's a whole bunch of fake people in his life. He wants to just run solo. The running theme through it all is his relationship with this person. I know you love to talk. I ain't on your schedule. He's accepting that. I'm not on anyone's schedule. He hasn't had a job since 2009. There's a line here that says that he has to act like his net worth, but he's pretty much saying that he wants to be who he's always been. He wants to be a constant, and that no amount of money is going to change who he is at his core. And then in this last line of that recording, I really want to highlight where it says, how far is a light year? And the person says a second. And there's a reason that he must have kept that in, because, you know, obviously a light year is how much light travels in the span of a year as far as distance is concerned. But this person just said a second, and they didn't know what that meant, right? They didn't know what a light year meant. They just said a second. But to them, that was their reality. They just believed it was a second. So really, how far is a light year in distance? To some of us, it really is a second. How far you can actually travel is all a mindset. As ridiculous as that sounds, you just have to own it and have that mindset, and you'd be amazed at the leaps that you can take, which I think is just going to be the running theme for this entire album for myself, and probably what Frank Ocean was trying to get across. This was a journey, not the same type of journey that we've had with other albums. It is so unique in its approach, in its style. I would kind of compare it to the way that Mac Miller was describing his story. There's a lot of acceptance with his situation. There's a lot of contentment. I mean, you can clearly hear in Frank Ocean's words that he is very self-aware. There's a lot of self-reflection across the album. He knows he's a flawed person, and that is so strong for anybody to realize and come to terms with. We should all strive to accept that we are flawed people, and once we find that realization and contentment within ourselves, then nothing can stop us. As far as a storyteller, that was an experience. And just as a musician, there was so many different elements and layers to it. A lot of the songs didn't even have drums, which is really the main thing that I always like to look forward to. But honestly, across all these songs, I never really felt a longing or a disconnect from these songs when they weren't there. I just enjoyed the storytelling, just listening to the way his vocal work was going on across all of the songs. There's a lot of favorites that I have across the board. Some of the highlights for me are Ivy, Pink and White, Be Yourself, Self-Control, Good Guy, Nights, Close to You, White Ferrari, Seigfried. I mean, there are a lot of hits. And you know what? A lot of these songs were really racking up in time. I mean, you have some 4-minute songs, 5-minute songs. The last one was a 9.5-minute song. And I never had this feeling that they were too long or that they were dragging on. And that, more power to Frank Ocean for that. I can totally see why he is the shit. Like, no question about it. That is so cool that he is even still relating to people in that way. I mean, he is so grounded. He is so grounded in who he is as a being, who he is as a person. It's almost like he's in the other room with you. But this was an awesome listen for sure. A lot of favorites. I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I know there was probably less thoughts during the songs than normal, but there was a lot of story being told, and I really wanted to soak all of that in. And I guess this is a good time to maybe ask for y'all's feedback. Well, first, number one, do you have any thoughts about Blonde as an album? And I'd love to hear your thoughts, maybe your favorites off the album. I also want to know, what do you think of the current format of these songs? I know they're on the longer side. Most of these are in the 40, 45-minute range. I'm just curious to see, do you like that format? Do you like how long they are and that I'm giving my thoughts while the song is playing and then maybe about a minute or two afterwards to talk about the songs? If maybe there are some suggestions of how I can format this differently, I'd love to hear that. And then also, do you have any suggestions for what the next album review will be? I do have a couple lined up of what I might want to do, but maybe in celebration of something else in the future, maybe we could do another listen through. Some of the ones that I do have lined up are, of course, Mac Miller's Circles. I do want to listen to that sometime in the future. I'm not sure when. I do want to make it a special occasion, of course, because I know a lot of people are waiting to hear that one. And I do want to give respect and a little bit of distance between the first listen of Swimming and the second listen with Circles. Maybe you want to approach some of his older material first before we go to Circles. Tyler, the Creator, is also on my list. Maybe we can listen to The Internet or some Odd Future stuff. And then also Kendrick. I've never listened to any of those artists, so if any of those interest you, please let me know what you would like to listen to next. Otherwise, thanks so much, guys, as always, for hanging out, and I will catch y'all in the next one. See ya.